Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sid, and if you always tune in and watch, thank you so much. Today I'm going to be talking about my wrap-up for the books that I read in February. I didn't do so great in February. I only read 3 books, I believe. I listened to the third Wheel of Time. I read an arc of the adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi, and the third thing was Frankenstein. I read all 3 of them. I loved them each. I could talk for days about Frankenstein. I think it's stinking amazing. I filmed a video and I'm not sure if I'm gonna edit it or not because it's literally just me rambling on for like 10 minutes about how much I loved Frankenstein. But Frankenstein was so good. Once I actually sat down and like read Frankenstein, it literally only took me probably 6 hours. I got a lot of it read on some sprints that I did with MJ, and then basically 2 other days I sat down and read it and was done. So it was really wonderful. Totally nothing like what Hollywood kind of expects you to think of it. If you don't know what Frankenstein is, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, I read Frankenstein and it was amazing. I think that there was such amazing themes around being created. I really thought that it was going to be more of a conversation between creator versus created, but it was really a lot of religious allegory to comparing this creation to the devil, and she obviously took a lot of inspiration from Paradise Lost. I have actually not read Paradise Lost. I am now going to be reading Paradise Lost because I cannot wait to see how a lot of that stuff kind of correlates to one another. But I think that she did a phenomenal job in just the consistent and constant comparison between Victor Frankenstein and Monster Frankenstein was just wonderful. The descriptive words that she used to describe everything, from Victor describing his creation to Frankenstein describing how he views the human race and how beautiful and joyful and wonderful we are. She just was able to create such a vivid and rich picture of everything. I was just I couldn't believe how wonderfully descriptive her writing was. I did read the 1831 version of Frankenstein, just as a caveat. I don't want anyone to come for my neck. That's what I chose. And I chose it and I'm fine. I'm good. I have no regrets. I think that was a wonderful version for me personally. If you want to read the original, all the power to you. But personally, I just loved the 1831 version. And I will stop talking about Frankenstein because I could go on. But please, if you are put off by it being a horror story, please kind of push that out of your mind. Don't think about that. It is not a horror story by any means. Second, I'll talk about the Wheel of Time, the third Wheel of Time. At this point, I'm a little nervous to talk about the Wheel of Time. I really don't want to spoil it for anybody. I don't want to say anything that might ruin the surprise for other people, but I will say in this particular book we follow our very, very separate side characters, and I personally loved all of the side characters. I love all the side characters way more than I love Rand. That's probably horrible because the entire series is about Rand, I'm pretty sure. But I am very pleasantly surprised at how much screen time, we'll call it, book time that we're getting with other characters. I kind of went into this series thinking that it was a one perspective book, and that there wouldn't be other points of view. It was going to be a one character's experience seeing other characters do other things, but it is not. I love it. I'm so pleasantly surprised by that aspect. My favorite character is Perrin right now. He has my whole heart. I love Perrin so much. And me and Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers totally agree that we absolutely hate Matt. Matt is just a little piece of garbage. He's just annoying and frustrating, and he causes so much chaos for no reason, but he kind of has like a good heart. He has good intentions, he just doesn't necessarily follow through with them. I personally love all three women that we follow. We don't really particularly follow Moraine very much, but the three younger women, I love following them. I think they are wonderful characters. I think that how he's able to describe like being a young woman and like fighting and bickering and getting on each other's nerves and just like not wanting to listen to the one, you know, the other one, and it's very like sibling-esque, and I think he actually does it really, really well. And another thing that he has kind of surprised me on is that he continually pairs people up with other people that I wouldn't think works, and it works so well. Like, you get to know these characters through these kind of pairings, and they kind of just are put with people that you're like, what? There's no way that's gonna work. And then they're great friends, or you know what I mean? It's a wonderful way of telling the story. And my hope is that the rest of the books kind of follow these other, you know, pairs, these different pairs, you know, pairing with different people, whatever that looks like. I think it's great. I am very excited for book 4. Book 4 is one of the longest books in the entire series. It will feel very good to get that off my list and just be done with one of the longest books. It's not the longest book, but it's a big, big book. So I'm a little nervous. I only have 21 days to listen to it from the library, so we might have to figure out how to get around that, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to listen to it that fast. It's like 41 hours, so that's quite a bit. But I will stop rambling. Please read The Wheel of Time if you haven't. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with it so far. Who knows where my opinions will go from here. And then the third and final book that I read for February was The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by S.A. Chakraborty. She is the author of The City of Brass, which I was supposed to read in February, and I have sad news for all of you. I DNF'd it. I got about 200 pages in, and I couldn't stand it. I was really surprised. I had high hopes that I was gonna like it. It hit a point where it was romance, and I hated the romance. I am not a romance reader. I am the furthest from a romance reader, and it was like an insta-love, very YA feeling, and I think that's where it really, really lost me, was like that YA just kind of perspective and feel to the book. It really just rubbed me the wrong way, and maybe it's because I read so much adult fantasy that it fell super short for me, but I've heard that people love the series, and so it was really hard for me to put the book down, but I immediately felt so much better when I DNF'd it. And then I got her arc from HarperCollins on NetGalley, this brand new book that came out yesterday on February 28th. And I loved it so much that I went and bought the hardcover. I'm not a hardcover girly, but I had to have this because, one, I think this cover is beautiful. I think it's freaking gorgeous. And actually it's one of the few times that I like the US edition more than I like the UK edition. I'll put it right here. I just didn't like what they did. But if you don't know anything about the adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi, she is a pirate mother. And this pirate mother has been in retirement for a decade. And when someone comes knocking on her door to threaten her family, she is forced to come out of that retirement in order to save her family and potentially save more than just her family. The story centers Amina, who is recounting her story, and someone is writing it down, and we are kind of getting glimpses into these little conversations that are happening on the side where you know, maybe she wants to change something in her story, and I love that trope. There's nothing better to me than like, oh, and I think it comes from my love for Lord of the Rings, but the idea that like this story is being told by other characters, love it. Chef's Kiss, Game of Thrones did that, lots of books do it. I love the trope. I don't think I'll ever get tired of it. We're following Amina, and this follows Amina and her ragtag group of fellow retiree pirates. And I was just so pleasantly surprised at how quickly and fast we can kind of connect with each character. Each character is different, and you kind of get this really just easy sense of like coming into the story. She's a very lovable character. You just want to learn more about her. And I don't know, I just was so, I mean, this is like a decently sized book. I haven't actually really looked at like the page count because I read it on my phone. It was 470 pages, so I flew through this. Once I actually like started reading it, I plowed through it. I was trying to read like 2 or 3 chapters a night. It was wonderful. I can't recommend this enough. If you're someone who likes like the mama bear trope, the pirate trope, this just feels so immersive and so vivid, and I am so very surprised that I loved this and DNF'd her first book. So I think it just shows you like the amount of growth that can happen, and that you shouldn't just write authors off because you didn't like one single book of theirs. I'm so glad that I got to read this, and I gave it a 4.75, which is like super high for me. I actually don't even know if it deserves 4.75. It might deserve a 5 out of 5. I keep thinking about this book, and I'm done with it, and it's supposed to be a trilogy. I can't wait. That's all I'm gonna say. Although I only read 3 books this month, I am so happy that this was one of them. And I'm so happy that I'm continuing on with my Wheel of Time. That's been a really big priority for me. I read high quality books this month over quantity, so I'll put it that way, I guess. But please go pick this up. I can't really recommend it enough. It was wonderful and pleasant and really surprising. That is all for today's video. Super short, super sweet. Hopefully I was clear and concise. Sometimes I can ramble on and on and on. I think I talked for a long time about Frankenstein, so as always, I really appreciate you all being here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join my Discord if you feel like it. No pressure here. Please remember to always read what you want, and don't feel any pressure to read anything you don't. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!